All right, Stewie, the next question I have for you is best ways to increase your borrowing capacity, or what's another way of putting it? Is that the best way to put it? Um, how to make sure you can get approved? Max loan amount. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, fire.
Okay, so this is important to both owner-occupied and investors. I think it's a bit more important to investors. Owner-occupiers are trying to buy their home, which is great, but they're going to buy their home, they're going to live in their home, and that's kind of that. Whereas investors are constantly looking for that next investment and how much they can borrow. So it's really important that they keep their credit records clean. So
And
don't
everything's
do
in tip
anything
top shape.
spurious.
Yeah.
In tip-top shape. There's actually a thing on Equifax where I'll just talk briefly. You can actually ask them to send you a report when someone hits your credit file. I think that's important, so people could look that up.
Ah, okay.
Um,
Let's put that. I'll put that one in the notes. So we're gonna have to
yeah,
make sure we do that.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think that's really important, particularly for investors. And extending your borrowing capacity and just maximizing that. Don't have any unnecessary car leases or any unnecessary expenses that you don't think.
So the obvious ones, get rid of the nice to haves, but not necessary, right?
Yeah. If you're trying to build a big portfolio of properties, just have the minimal personal debt possible. So, like a $5,000 credit card just for emergencies, that sort of thing. It's not that big a deal. Um, but if you had a $20,000 credit card, that can be quite a big deal and it could
Yeah.
really minimize how much you can borrow.
Yeah. Even with a $5,000 credit card, that's not like it's not huge, but it can affect. It could just take you that was that little bit more that you needed. So, often it's a matter as long as you're obviously disciplined with your credit cards, it could just be cancel the freaking credit card.
But yeah, look, if you just keep it as a minimal, and we have conversations all the time, like, okay, you've got a $20,000 limit, so therefore you can get this much. Um, can we lower that to 5,000, and therefore we can get you this increased amount over here? And that works all the time. So just
Yeah.
keep those credit cards low, keep personal
Yeah.
expenses low.
Better yet, you don't even need to cancel everything. Speak to your broker and work out, like, do I need this? Like, if you don't need the full limit, how much could you keep and still be able to achieve what you want to achieve, right?
To get us back to a previous video that we talked a lot about just keeping your expenses low on that sort of thing, and I think that that's super important. Yeah.
Yeah. So avoid ongoing costs. Get rid of, I mean, that obviously it seems quite obvious. Get rid of car leases. Get rid of any ongoing expenses that are not nice to haves, not necessary. Get rid of or reduce your credit card limits. Don't engage in particularly the 3 months leading up to a purchase or 3 months leading up to a loan application. Don't engage in buy now, pay later as much as possible. Any other major things that could tweak and assist people?
Well, there's a funny thing about overtime as well. If you're a person with overtime and commissions and things like that,
That's a good one.
really try to push those incomes into that 3 month period before you would be. I mean, that could be hard for everybody, but if you can make that work
Yeah.
for the way that you work, that would really push your income up. We do a thing called annualizing year to date. So, say at the moment we're in about week 15 of the year. So starting at 1st of July, we're in about week 15 of the year. Someone who's earning
Yeah.
commissions could be a really strong period for them. But then around Christmas time, it's seasonal work. They don't get a lot of commissions in that period. So therefore, try to get the application done now and not at
Yeah.
Christmas time, because your annualized year to date will
Yes.
look amazing. Whereas
Yes.
at about Christmas time, it's not going to look that amazing.
And if you can get if a pre-approval now and you can
Yes.
just get that pre-approval extended later on, even that is better than waiting later and applying
Yeah.
later when your pay slips may not look as exciting.
You-
Or if you have a history, let's say right now you've not been doing a huge amount of overtime and they're only looking at the last 3 months, but prior to that you were doing loads of overtime and you know that that overtime is going to start again. What you can do, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doggy, but what you can do is also work with your broker to find a lender that will look at your last 2 years' income, so they can average out the income and they can see the regularity. That is, if
Yes.
it's regular, the regularity of that overtime that you've had. Would that be right?
Yeah. You've given away a few industry secrets there, Isa, but that's okay.
That's
No,
because they
that's
were
really
my
great.
secrets.
Yeah, they're your secrets. Yeah. So that's a really great way to put it forward. Like you might be having a bad 3 months right now, or a lesser 3 months right now, but in if you could prove over time that you have earned it over that period, there are lenders that will grant that. So they will say, yeah, we
Yeah,
realize that this kind of a job has that seasonality to it, so therefore we'll accept the increased income. Yeah, good way to
yeah.
put it.
And of course, if you've got any existing properties that you own and leases are expired, minimal increases here go along in the rental income that you receive go a long way, don't they?
Definitely. Yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up too. There are different lenders that will accept. So many lenders will shade it by 80%. So if you earn $100, they'll only take 80 of those dollars into account
Yeah,
there. There are other lenders that will take 100% of that. So sometimes it's interesting to
yeah.
play those different calculators and just see
And
which one
some that
can do
take
you more.
less. Some take
Perfect.
75 as well.
Absolutely. Some properties actually take less, like a really high end two, three, $4 million property. They might only take 50% or 60% of that as well. So you're right
Yes,
there, Isa.
that's right. Yeah, I've seen that happen, which, it's just the way it works sometimes. So knowing all of this ahead of time, the broker can really work to get you a better result, I guess. Well, you're brilliant. Mwah! Thank you.